I want to talk about Crown Jewel and what I thought was a amazing show. Um, so one of the things I really loved, I loved how Crown Jewel started off. And I will always give WWE credit because they make really great video packages, especially introduction packages. It's just like boom, got your attention. I thought it was fire that they started off with Rhea Ripley because, she's in her home country. And the one thing that I loved how they showed a kind of a package of different countries of basically all of us as wrestling fans coming together, and how you don't need translation for WWE necessarily. I thought that was dope. And the way they did it, they're showing people in Puerto Rico and they're singing, a chant or a song, and then they switch it to another country or city or state or whatever. And I was like, this is fire, because it's just like a deeper message of it, regardless of, who we are as people, what we believe in, whatever. It's just like the community that wrestling has built. It brings us together. And I thought that was a dope way to start the show off. So now the match card. So we kick off the show with Bronson Reed and Roman Reigns, which I thought was a pretty good match. The one thing I really loved, I loved how Braun Breaker when he came out, and he came out and speared Roman. I thought that was done amazingly. And also shout out to Roman, because acknowledge me mid-match is a little crazy, but you gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta do what you gotta do. But my biggest thing I loved, the Usos came out, which was my prediction that they would cost Roman. I didn't think the aftermath was going to be how it was, though. So Jey Uso accidentally spears Roman, and then Roman loses to Bronson Reed. And what I really liked after that match is how Roman, scolded the Usos. He was just like, people think I can't do things on my own. People think this and that. This isn't the old times, like the bloodline when they would come help him. And, Roman leaves, and he's like, I don't want to see you until Christmas. You know how mad you got to be upset at somebody? You got to be livid. I don't want to see you until Christmas. And I know, we're in October right now, and that's December, but that's a different type of anger. But I really like that segment. And then, you see Jay, particularly, he's just angry. No, he's always going to be himself, man, and blah, blah, blah. And I really like this because it threw me off. Because my prediction and the way things have been happening on Raw, it felt like Roman was going to kind of be a mentor for Jey Uso, and he was going to kind of take an angle and turn into Roman in a sense. Well, not into Roman, because it's only one Roman Reigns, but it's have his traits. And it's not necessarily that it's too late for that to happen, because I feel like you're kind of seeing Jay a little different. He's not just you know what I mean? He's different right now a little bit. He's more emotional for sure. And I like it also because now I'm in a place of, okay, what's about to happen now? It's one of those things where I'm thinking something and it seems predictable, and then they turn it. And I really like that, because with me watching wrestling, I like when I'm thrown off guard. And that's one of the reasons why I hate when I see spoilers for stuff, because when I watch wrestling, I want to be surprised. And if I'm about to watch Raw and I know the whole match card that I saw it online, what's the point of me watching the show? And of course, I'm not really going to care for it, because I'm just waiting for whatever I saw spoiled to happen. So I really like that I keep getting these turns and twists with Roman, Jey, and Jimmy. And I would love if this turned into a way to somehow push Jimmy Uso into some kind of singles run for something. I feel like I feel like at this point I don't even care. I'm like, give him something. Just let me see him with something, because at some point he's gonna leave for paternity leave. I don't know how long, but just something. I'll take what I can get right now. But moving forward, next up we have Tiffany Stratton versus Stephanie Vaquer for the Crown Jewel Championship. That match was great. I knew going into it, because I see a lot of people kind of hate on Tiffany, but I think as a wrestler she's not bad. She's very athletic. And I feel like they both did a good job of showing that. And I feel like they had really good chemistry together. I will say I am happy Stephanie won, because I feel like they're doing a good job of building Stephanie into the person that she should be, right? If that makes sense. Because, you have the championship belt on her. She's having these banger matches. And I think it was a smart move to give her that belt and to beat Tiffany. And also, I don't think that Tiffany losing does diminish anything for her, because, you know, Tiffany mostly wins pretty much all her matches. So if you're going to look at it from that angle and you're building Stephanie up as this person, she needed to win that. And I think it was smart and it was a good job. I thought it was really like really wholesome how Stephanie, I noticed she gets very emotional when she gets things and she seems very grateful, and I really love that. And I cannot wait to see where she kind of ends up in her career. You know, I know she's going to be a top talent, obviously. In my eyes, she is right now. I've always loved her. I think she's great. But I'm excited for her, and I'm excited she won. I'm also excited to see who her next opponent is. I kind of was wondering if we get Rhea, but I'm kind of at the same time thinking maybe they'll wait on that. But I don't know. That matchup would be really good, though. Next up, I could do a whole separate YouTube video on what I'm about to talk about. I'm not going to, but I could. I could, because it was that phenomenal. So, next up, we have John Cena versus AJ Styles. Cooked. Devoured. Ate. The things. Like, oh my gosh. I am a part of the C Nation. I have been since I was younger. So, John Cena retirement tour, farewell tour, it's starting to hit kind of heavy right now. But nonetheless, let me stop being emotional. Let's go into it. So basically, oh my gosh. Okay. So, you know, coming out, AJ has on tights, which was just like, because I used to watch AJ Styles when he was in TNA. I had a whole phase where I was just like really like, oh my gosh, TNA. And I wasn't really watching WWE, and AJ Styles was my boy. So I was just like, oh, they're about to cook. I knew they would cook as John Cena and AJ Styles. But when he had those shorts on, I was like, okay. And then another big thing for me that I really, really loved, you know, John Cena got his introduction he has where Alicia is, she's just like, oh, the Never Seen 17, da-da-da-da-da, you know? And I loved that John Cena went and handed her a paper and gave AJ Styles his own entrance. I thought that was so wholesome, because AJ Styles is also a legend as well, and he also deserves those things. And, you know, AJ is also about to retire. So I thought it was nice that John, you know, before the match even started, he's giving him his flowers as well. I was like, oh my gosh, already, guys, already. The match cooked. One of my favorite things that they were doing is how they were paying homage to people. You know, with the finishers, you know, you had Tombstone, you had Skull Crushing Finale, which was really huge too, because The Miz has said he wanted to do something with John, and then John, you know, posted The Miz on his Instagram. And I honestly wouldn't have minded if they did, because, you know, The Miz was a part of John Cena's career too, you know, in a sense. So I thought it was dope that John is just now in a place where he's paying homage to people that he also didn't really get to do anything with, the people that were a part of his career. You know, we got the punt kick. John trying to do the punt kick. He hit the RKO. Walls of Jericho. And the big one that has emotions everywhere, man. When John hit Sister Abigail on AJ Styles, and then they cut the camera, and they cut the camera back, and you see all the fireflies out in the audience with their phones. I wanted to cry. And then you have John just looking up in the sky, you know, Bray Wyatt, because he's like gone. Got me. That got me. But then, you know, you have John finishing the match. He does the Tombstone, then he does the AA. And I was emotional the whole match, if I'm being honest. But what really got me is towards the end. When John wins, you know, he's sitting there, AJ's laid out, and then he helps AJ up, and they're just both standing there, being the goats that they are, just basically good sportsmanship, respect for each other. I got teary-eyed, because, you know, me growing up, I watched AJ Styles a lot. I watched John Cena. Like, I went to war about John. I still do as an adult, but John Cena that's my guy. Like, I'm not even getting to the things I would do with John Cena when I was younger. Like, how crazy I was about him as a fan. But, you know, same thing with AJ. AJ has always been one of my favorite wrestlers, too. So it hit me watching both of them, and I was just like, oh my gosh, they're really about to leave. Like, we're really not about to see John Cena or AJ, and then John leaving out. You know, he was like this, which means he has 4 dates left. And that hit a little harder. And this week coming up, the tickets go on sale for his final match. And I think I'm at a place now where it hit me already, but it's really starting to settle in. Like, wow, you're really about to leave, like, for good. And then AJ's going to follow up and leave after. And it really got me in my feels. But I am happy that Creative listened to the fans. I'm happy that that match happened. I think it's crazy that it wasn't going to. I don't know. I'm happy that they scrapped whatever they're going to do and they instead put AJ and Cena, because that match to me was my match of the pay-per-view, if I'm being honest. And I think just the nostalgia and my childhood and seeing, all these great things, it just hit. And I feel like one of the things Michael Cole said too on commentary, he was like, this reminds you of, like, why you love professional wrestling. And I was like, yes, and I agree, because I feel like moments like what John and AJ did, especially if you're, my age or whatever, and you've seen them throughout their careers, it hits differently, and seeing them pay homage to people that you also love, it's just a different feeling. And it's just like, wow. Like, wow. But yeah, that was definitely top tier for sure. Next up we go into Rhea Ripley and IYO SKY versus the Kabuki Warriors. Phenomenal. That's honestly my favorite storyline on Raw right now, if I'm being honest. So I was looking forward to that match. I loved how the Kabuki Warriors were beating down IYO most of the match. I feel like they looked really strong. They looked really dominant. I just thought it was great. And I feel like it made sense because, they betrayed her, and Kairi got with the program. You know what I mean? She's not like, oh, IYO. She was wearing her out. And then, like, Rhea comes in. And also, shout out to Rhea's entrance. They went crazy. I thought that was really fire. But obviously they wish she's from there. But that match was really good. I'm kind of wondering, I'm not saying wondering, I'm hoping that it continues. And I don't think Rhea's going to be a part of it anymore. I could easily see it continuing with Asuka and Kairi, and they do something with that. I think I could see something where maybe IYO is like, Rhea, I don't need your help, or something happens in some form or capacity, because that storyline is just top tier again. Another top tier. Lastly, Cody Rhodes. Oh my gosh, wait, no, not lastly. Paul Heyman is freaking backstage, and he tells the Rons not to interfere and help Seth, which I thought was insane, because, whoa. And then what really got me was Braun Breaker. Paul walks away. Braun Breaker was like, oh, what's going to happen if Seth loses? And he came right back. He was like, I think you both know. Are you cool? Are you cool? Man, I would have went and told Seth so fast. Like, watch him. He's done so many shady things and weird things lately. And a part of me also was like, maybe he did it because it eases Seth's mind to know he did it on his own. But also it's kind of like, no, because Paul Heyman normally, he would go ahead and be like, oh, go out there, or do this or do that. Especially, watching him with Roman throughout the years. And I feel like we saw a lot of times too where Paul, with Seth the Vision, Paul is like on the phone. He's calling them to come down to the ring or whatever. So for him to say that, and then what happened on Raw Monday with him saying, I'm going to wonder why I picked you, it just made me like, what's about to happen in the storyline? Because you have Paul's in so many different things right now. So I don't know, Seth, watch your back. But last match, Seth Rollins versus Cody Rhodes. That match was good. I know it would be, because I feel like whenever they go up against each other, they always do a great job. I'm happy Seth Rollins won, because I feel like Cody Rhodes, there was no reason to me logically for Cody Rhodes to win that match. I feel like the last few months, Seth Rollins has not looked like a strong champion. Honestly, he's losing to AJ Lee and CM Punk, and then you added Becky in, and she's kind of fighting his battles for him. So I think that it was a good idea, even though he used the watch. I'm kind of like, well, he's a heel. That's something a heel would do. So I don't really see an issue with that. I honestly thought he would have won clean, but it's like, a win is a win, and he's a heel. So it logically makes sense that he would use a watch to beat him. And also, it's like, your watch means nothing to me. Take it back. I won the match. Give me my belt. And I like how Seth Rollins had the microphone and he's just cooking everybody after the match is over. I was like, talk your talk, Seth. Yeah. But, let me see. Is that it? Yes, that's it. So I thought overall this pay-per-view was amazing. I figured it would be because I know a lot of people hated on Palooza. So I was like, they're about to pull out their bag. And they did that. They did that for sure. You know, I'm invested in what's next with a lot of other storylines and if this is the end or not. But nonetheless, great PLE. And I cannot wait to see what is next to come. Thank you for watching. As always, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.